Welcome to our weekly Forex forecast, and this is for trading on for the week of September 14th to the 18th, 2020. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. As usual, we'll start off by taking a look at our calendar here. So this week, actually, before we dive into that, so one of the things that we saw last week was ECB monetary policy announcement. So ECB essentially left the euro alone. They said they are not concerned about euro strength at this point, and as a result of that, euro got a boost. So that was a big big event from last week. And also around Brexit, we have seen pound has been taking a big hit, and the reason for that is because UK is actually considering breaking the international, the agreement, sorry, I should say, that they had. So that goes against international law. So they're thinking of breaking, or they're going to vote on a bill that basically breaks the agreement with the EU, and that is not a good thing. As a result of that, we have seen pound break down, and it's because they have not been able to come to an agreement, and we only have 3 months left. So there was no extension for the Brexit deal, and now we are seeing the whole Brexit scenario. Basically, it's getting worse rather than actually them reaching an agreement. So that is negative for British pound. And then coming up here, this week, we have monetary policy meeting minutes from Australia. At this point, not really looking at anything to change. But again, if we see right now, because central banks won't be changing anything in regards to the interest rates and really the overall monetary policy, all we're looking for is the commentary, how the central banks see the economy going into 2021. How are they viewing the whole vaccine coming out, and what the basically coming out of the lockdowns and now getting the economy back on track. So any concerns around that would be negative, but if they keep the status quo, then I wouldn't expect much of a change. Now we do have earnings here, or employment numbers for UK. So this will be interesting because now we do have the Brexit talks that are falling apart. So if the Brexit talks are falling apart and the numbers don't come out positive here, that could have more of a negative impact on the pound. But if the numbers come in positive here, we may see a pullback with the British pound, because then it will look like the things are still working in the country, and the impact won't be as much. Other than that, in terms of major news here, we do have CPI numbers here for UK. So British pound here will be impacted by that. If the numbers are positive, that would be good, but any negative numbers could essentially add to the trouble that we are seeing with pound right now. Now we do have retail sales numbers for the US, and also on Wednesday here, we have FOMC here. So FOMC, last time we had FOMC, we did see that it moved the market. ECB last week moved the market. So we'll see what they have to say. So at this point, Fed hasn't talked about negative interest rates, but if they start talking about that, that would be negative for the US dollar. It will be positive for the stock market, but negative for US dollars. So we'll have to basically keep an eye on the statement, and again, look at what the outlook or how the Fed is viewing the economic progress now that we are sort of getting towards hopefully the tail end of this, even though the numbers are, the number of deaths are a lot. Obviously, the new cases have been growing, but the number of deaths versus the new cases have been stabilizing. So as a result of that, and actually overall numbers have been stabilizing as well. They're quite high, but still stabilizing. So that should, hopefully that will help us get through this and things will get better from here, but we'll see. So again, we have to pay attention to the commentary as opposed to the actual monetary policy statement. I wouldn't expect them to change that at this point. And then we have GDP numbers for the quarter for New Zealand. This is quite a drop from the previous quarter. If they come in worse than expected, worse than this number, that should have a negative impact on New Zealand dollar here. And then we have employment numbers here for Australia. And at this point, again, if so unemployment rate is supposed to increase. If they are worse, if they are in line with expectations, that should be okay. If they're slightly worse, that should be okay. I think the only time this will cause a problem would be if they are quite a bit either they're high and positive and they're or quite a bit off the median here and they go towards being extremely negative. All of that will have an impact, but if they're slightly off, that should not make much of a difference. And then this week here, another monetary policy from Bank of Japan. Again, I should say Japan is going through some changes in terms of leadership, so we'll have to pay attention to that, and we'll see how that or if it makes any difference in terms of the monetary policy and how Bank of Japan is viewing the upcoming quarter and as well as the upcoming year. And of course, we have another monetary policy statement here from UK. At this point, I would not expect them to talk about negative interest rates, but with the Brexit looming now, just 3 months away, and the trade talks breaking down, this will be interesting because if the bank is concerned, Bank of England is concerned, they may want to adjust the monetary policy, or they may talk about the concerns that they have coming up with Brexit, and that could have a negative impact. But if they are not too concerned about Brexit, if they say that things are likely to go smoothly, then that should help British pound. So we may not see it go up too much, but at least it won't tumble based on this. And of course, on Thursday, we have employment numbers out of the US here, and the claims are overall decreasing over time. So if the numbers again come in line with expectations, that should help the stock market. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. And on Friday here, retail sales numbers from UK, we have current account, which is your trade balance numbers, and current account from the US as well, plus consumer confidence numbers. So we'll see how all of this plays out, but the main thing will be the monetary policies here. So we've got a busy middle of the week here. Wednesday and Thursday are going to be volatile. All right, so let's take a look at our charts now. So we'll start with euro dollar here. Euro dollar still trading in this range. It did come towards the bottom of the range here, but it has bounced off from there. So the ECB being supportive of letting, or ECB being okay with letting the euro run, has helped the euro. So this week, this is completely neutral. We have price open and close at exactly the same point. So right now, this is neutral. At this point, I would expect this to basically stay in the range here, and we'll just have to wait and see which side this wants to break through. So either if it breaks out here, then we can start trading higher, or we have to wait for it to drop through the support and then look for this move to the downside. At this point, this is neutral, so I would look for a range bound trading at this point between 1.1750 and 1.20, so neutral bias for euro dollar. Pound here fell off of the cliff here, and the main reason behind this was the Brexit. So the Brexit talks have not been going too well, and UK is essentially contemplating, like I said, breaking the agreement, and that is frowned upon. Because basically you lose trust. That means you won't keep any of your international agreements, and that is not a good thing for a country. So we'll see how this plays out. It has been a big drop, so we may see a pullback here, so be prepared for that. It is also into important support resistance level, so we could see a pullback either into 1.2880 or 2900, or even all the way back here towards a 1.30 or 1.2980 level. So I would just keep an eye on that, and then if it holds, basically this is the type of move I am looking for here. So a bit of a pullback either into a 1.30 or 1.29, and then a drop here. But there is a lot of there's a lot of negative sentiment here for British pound right now. So bias is to the downside. Again, watch out for pullback. First target is a 1.2665, and then the second target here would be 1.2520. So bearish bias here for pound dollar. Aussie dollar here, this one's looking neutral as well. We did see price go up, but over the last 3 weeks, this hasn't really done anything. It's again stuck in this range for the last 3 weeks here. And what we need to see is a drop, and then we can trade it to the downside, or we may see a retest of the support. And if it holds, we're looking for that move higher. So just like it happened over here. So we saw that price was sideways for a bit and then pulled back, held above the support level and went higher. So we could get something like this. And for that, we have to see a hold above the support. So that's one scenario. Other one would be if the stock market breaks down, then we're likely to see a drop here as well. So now we are getting into that critical time ahead of the elections in the US, and that is going to have an impact on the stock market. It's going to create volatility in the market, and we may, because the market has gone up so much, we may see some profit taking ahead of the election. So we're still a month and a half away, but we are, as we get closer, expect more volatility in the market, and right into the elections, I would expect a lot of volatility. But for now, from here on out, we are likely to see that volatility come in just because of the risk created by the elections, because right now things are all over the place. There's a lot of division, so we'll have to see how things play out. But for the time being, excuse me, for the time being, this one here, again, neutral. I will look for a pullback towards 0.917190, and if it holds, looking for that 0.74 level here. So neutral bias for Aussie dollar as well. New Zealand dollar, this one did drop a bit, but again, it is still here sideways. So if you take a look at this one, over the last several weeks, this hasn't really been able to break the resistance here. This is a solid support resistance level, and we saw price drop. So there is bearishness in it. However, there is a bit of rejection here as well. So I will look for a retest. So we may get something like this. So we need to see a breakthrough here, and then I will look for this move towards 0.6520. So bias here is a bearish, and I'm just basically looking for price to trade within this range here. So neutral to bearish for New Zealand dollar. Now the thing would be if it either holds above the support resistance level, then we are looking for a move higher, or if it goes into the support, holds, and then we're looking higher, looking for it to go higher as well. So for now, bias here is bearish to neutral to bearish, sorry. Dollar CAD went up as US dollar strengthened across the board, and this one as well is trading in a range at this point. So this is the support resistance level for the last 4 weeks. This is where we are still. So here I'm looking for a retest of 1.3250, and then if it holds, we are basically looking for a range bound move here as well, until either we see a break through the top here, then we can look for a move higher back into that level, or we see a rejection, it goes down, breaks down, and then we could see a drop. But for now, this is looking neutral. So expecting a move within the range for the time being, and once it breaks to either side or it holds below here, then we'll have a direction. So we'll watch that on the daily. Euro pound here, huge move to the upside here, and a couple of reasons for this. One, ECB essentially supported euro by saying that they're not worried about the strength in euro, and that was a big thing prior to the ECB meeting, because there was expectation that we may see ECB say no to the exchange rate. So they may not be happy about it, but they've left it alone. As a result of that, we have seen euro go up, and at the same time, we have seen British pound just take a tumble. So the combination of the two has given us this huge move to the upside. Now, keep in mind, price into resistance here. So this is where it turned and then went higher. It did go a little higher there. So, excuse me, I would say the bias is bullish, but I would be cautious. So as it starts to get through towards these extremes here, we may see move back down. So watch out for that. Right now, this is bullish, and I would look for a move like that. So bias here is bullish. Just be cautious though. Euro Swiss franc, this is still trading in a range. It's been range bound for a number of weeks now. We do have a bearish candle close here, so I will look for a move back towards the support level at 1.0720, and if it holds above, then we're looking for a move back towards the middle and top of the range here. So right now, neutral to bearish bias, 1.0720 is the target. And this will only, I'm not bearish on this completely yet. It would only turn bearish once we see the support break at 1.0720. And until then, this is going to stay neutral. So neutral to bearish bias here for Euro Swiss franc. Pound Swiss franc, like all the other pound crosses, this one also took a tumble. And this one has traded in a range, and it is right into the bottom of the range. So here we may see a pullback either into 1.1750 or a deeper one towards 1.1860, and then I will look for a drop back towards the support, and only if it goes through, then we have this entire move here that we'd look to fill here. So right now, bearish bias, watch out for that pullback, and then looking for a continuation move. Now the concern here would be, what if because over here as well, it bounced off of, so it can do that. Right now I'm more biased to the downside, so I would just look for a pullback. I'm not looking for a reversal of this move. But now if, let's say, EU and UK do reach an agreement, then that could reverse the move. But as we proceed here, we'll have to just keep an eye on how those Brexit talks are going. So right now, looking for a pullback either into 1.1750 or 1.1900. And then we're likely to see a drop here. So bearish bias for pound Swiss franc. Dollar Swiss franc, this one hasn't really done much. It's been going back and forth in the range right now. Still looking range bound. We did see this rejection from the top here. And at this point, I will look for a move lower towards 0.9010. So neutral to bearish here for this as well. So I'm looking for it to continue trading in the range essentially. So looking for a move back down and then a retest. If it fails, go back into the middle of the range. So neutral to bearish here as well. Pound yen, this one as well, we were looking for a drop last week. I just didn't expect it to be this much. However, bias still remains bearish. Only thing I would keep in mind is it is into support right here. This is an important support. So if you take a look at it, price has reacted at this level multiple times. So we could see a bounce off of this level. So watch out for that. I will look for a pullback and either into 138 or a shallower pullback towards 137, even 136. So we'll have to just keep an eye on it and see where. So we'll do this on the daily. We'll monitor it, see if you get a pullback. So I will look for a pullback, and then if it holds, looking for that further drop here. Now all the Japanese yen crosses here, we will have to monitor the stock market. So Japanese yen crosses, as well as even the dollar crosses, are very closely tied into the stock market. So if the stock market drops, our yen crosses will drop and our dollar crosses will drop as well. And if the stock market goes up, then our yen crosses and dollar crosses will go up as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on those, on that relationship, because so far the market had been going up over the last several weeks. We have seen stock market go up, and now the last couple of weeks we have seen it pull back. And now the question is this a pullback, or are we going to see a reversal here? Because it has gone up quite fast. Even though the economy hasn't changed very much. So underlying fundamentals haven't changed. They've actually worsened, if anything, but the market has gone up, shot up quite a bit because of the money that's being put in the market by the Fed and all the other central banks. So at this point, just keep an eye on the stock market and while we trade the yen crosses here. So bearish bias in terms of the target, the first target would be 134.30 and then 132.80. Euro yen here, this one still trading in that range. We saw price came into the bottom of the range and then pushed off of that. So this is looking quite neutral as well. This is an important support resistance. It couldn't get through, and now we are stuck in this range, kind of like this here. So now we have to see, is it going to break out to the upside and go higher, or we need to wait for it to break down through the support, and then we have this entire move that we will look to get filled. At this point, it's in no man's land, right in the middle. So for the time being, we are just going to monitor the range, and I'm looking for a range bound move, essentially 126.70, and if it doesn't go through, looking for a move back down and sideways move here. So neutral bias for euro yen. Dollar yen here, dollar yen hasn't really done a whole lot. This one also trading in a range at this point. It's smack in the middle of that range. So for now, bias is neutral here, and I would just look for price to basically go towards 107 at this point. And then if it fails to break out of that, we are looking for a move back in. So bias here is neutral for dollar yen. Aussie yen here. Aussie yen also looks neutral here. We did see that price came into the support level here, and this is an important support level. It couldn't break it. As we can see, price has failed at this level and held below this level several times before finally making it through. And at this point, I will look for retest, and if it holds, we're looking for the next leg higher. So this one right now is neutral as well. As long as it holds above the 76.25 level, it will still be bullish. And if it holds, then again, like I said, we'll look for that leg higher. So for now, we have to just sit and wait till it sets up. So neutral bias here for Aussie yen. New Zealand yen, this one as well, trading in a range here. So a lot of these crosses are range bound right now. So for last several weeks, this one's since April essentially has been trading sideways. There is some bearishness here, but the long wick here suggests rejection. So neutral here, I will look for something like this. And if it doesn't hold below this, if it goes through essentially, then next target would be 73.60. But in the meantime, right now, we'll have to wait and see if it breaks down. For now, I am looking for a range bound move, looking for a move back towards the middle and then bottom of the range. So neutral bias for New Zealand yen as well. CAD yen here, CAD yen is similar. As we can see, price has traded sideways here for a number of weeks here. It hasn't broken out of this range. It did come to test the support level and it has failed. So at this point, looking for a range bound move here as well. I will look for a bit of a pullback potentially into this level, and if it holds, a retest of the low towards 79.80. So neutral bias for CAD yen as well. So at this point, all eyes on the stock market. Okay, so let's take a look at what's going on with our commodities here. So silver's been stuck in a range here as well. This week we saw, or last week I should say, last week we saw a price drop into the support level and then it held. So we may see it go back up at this point, but it's neutral. Right now, looks like this one is also in a holding pattern, waiting to see what happens. Again, this will be directly related to the stock market. So we have to just wait and see. Right now, looking neutral. I will look for this one to trade in a range here as well. So basically looking for it to trade between 25.80 and then potentially higher. So first would be 27.5 and then higher. So I'm just going to leave these there and we'll monitor them on the daily chart. So right now, this is looking neutral. Gold here, gold as well. This one has been neutral as well. As we can see, price is just traded in this range. So this week's candle is again completely neutral. It failed to hold or move through the support level, so it's still in a holding pattern. So here we had a neutral candle, and over the last 3 weeks, or last few weeks actually, no movement, no direction here. So right now, neutral, and basically looking for retest. If it holds, looking for it to go back towards 1990 and back and forth here. So looking for a range bound move. Once we see a break through the support, then we'll start to see a breakdown, or if it goes through the resistance, then we'll look for a retest of the high. But until then, it's just a wait and watch scenario for now. So neutral bias for gold as well. Oil here, oil did drop. So after doing this type of compressed move for several weeks here, we have seen this one drop. Now it is into support level here. So bias is still bearish. I will look for a pullback potentially into 38.80 and then turn down again. So bearish bias here, and we'll have to see if it breaks through the support. If it doesn't, then we're back into this range again. So for now, bearish, and we'll keep an eye on what happens at 34.65 level. Copper here, copper did drop, but then it held above the support level here, and that means this is still, this is likely to go higher here. Now, we do have resistance right there, so if it doesn't break through the resistance, we are back into a range. For now, though, we have two bounces off of the support, so this is neutral to bullish. First will be 3.05 is the first target, and then 3.12. So neutral to bullish here for copper. Bitcoin here, I don't have the weekend figures here for Bitcoin, but right now, Bitcoin has been, or I should say over the last several weeks, Bitcoin has been struggling as well. We did see it go all the way into 12,000, but then it has bounced off of that. So this week's candle close is completely neutral here. And this one also is moving in lockstep with the stock markets here. So we'll, again, right now, all focus is on the stock markets. At this point, if we see a break through the support, then I'm looking for a move back down here. So bias right now is neutral to bearish, but if it holds above 98.50, we're going back up again. So right now, neutral, and 8,900 would be the target here once it breaks through the support. But if it holds, again, back into the range. S&P 500, last 2 weeks, we have seen a drop here. So this is still looking bearish. Now, watch out for pullback again. And from here on out, I would expect stock market to be volatile. Right now, basically looking for a pullback and then a drop here. So bearish bias. Concern here will be if it holds above, or it may just come into this level and then go back up. So that can happen as well. So for now, bias is bearish. Next target 32.20. Nasdaq, same thing here. We have seen stocks come back down, and next target, so bias is bearish here. Looking for a similar move. Watch out for that pullback. And then looking for a drop here. First target is 10,820 and then 10,400. So bearish bias here for Nasdaq. And then we have Dow Jones, similar move here as well. We see price dropped. It did come into support here. So excuse me, we'll have to see if it does that. So if it holds above this 27,250, then we are going back up. But should it break through, then we're looking for a move back down towards 26,260. So right now, I would be looking for more of a pullback towards 28,000. And then if it holds there, we could see another leg lower here. So bearish bias target would be 26,265. And then we have DAX here. DAX was bullish here. Now it has been stuck in this area for the last little bit. We may see a move higher towards 13,430 and then a move and then I would look for it to come back down if it doesn't go through the resistance here. So towards 12,840. So right now, neutral to slightly bullish here. I'm not super bullish on the stock market at this point. I think this is quite a move and this has happened in all stock markets. So that's quite a bit of a move. Right now, fundamentals are not supporting the high valuations that we are seeing in the stock market. And if the fundamentals don't line up with the sentiment, that's not a good thing, because sooner or later that hot air balloon is going to pop, and that could have negative consequences. So right now, looking for a bit of a move higher towards the high here, and then a range bound move. So slightly neutral to slightly bullish just into that. FTSE here, FTSE did bounce back up here as well. Now it could go higher into 6180 level, but again, I'm not extremely bullish. This one is also kind of making its way lower here. So we may see a move into the high and then a drop from there. So we'll have to see. Right now, neutral to slightly bullish, because we could go into 6180 for FTSE here as well. All right, Nikkei did turn around here. It has a bit of a bullish candle here, but it's still in that range bound area. So I will look for a move towards 23,600, and then if it holds, then we're looking for a drop. But this one does have room above that, and that's what we'll have to watch on more of a daily basis to see if it's able to break through the resistance. So right now, neutral to slightly bullish here towards 23,600, and then we'll have to watch that. so neutral to slightly bullish for Nikkei as well. And that brings us to the end. But before we wrap it up, just a reminder about the Turning Pro Challenge. We're doing a reset here, with this being the last quarter of this year. It has been an interesting year, so time for us to kind of get back on track here. Right now, so normally the Turning Pro Challenge is $9.97. The current price actually is actually, I'm mistaken there. It's $6.97 here. So you get a 30% discount on this. So you can basically join for $300 less here, or $200 less here. What does it include? We are going to do some live training. As soon as you start, you will have access to the Learn to Trade Forex course, but we'll be redoing the training. So every Tuesday, we'll have a live training session. So I will teach you the material. We're going to make some changes to the outline here. I'm going to add some more of some more, I should say, strategies to follow trends and so forth. But you will get access to this course that we have, Learn to Trade Forex course, which is $497 normally. And you will get the live training that we'll be doing. Plus, you will also get a full year's worth of access to Trade Vault. And this one normally is $127 a month, which means it's over $1,500 a year. And you get all of this for, so you get the $500 plus, so you get basically getting over $2,000 worth of material for $697. So this is really a great deal if you are interested in implementing. So this is, the focus here will be on teaching you the setups, understanding the market, but main focus will be on implementation. I find a lot of times people will learn stuff, so you know it, but you're not doing it, you're not implementing the stuff. So that's what the focus here will be, and that's why we're doing the reset. So we'll focus on implementation. Every evening we'll have live calls. So generally I put out the 5 or US dollar crosses information for free on YouTube, but I actually do way more than that every day. So I only put a small portion of that for free. So if you're part of the Trade Vault, you will get access to all the pairs that I look at, or the analysis for all the pairs that I look at. You will also get a spreadsheet every day from me with trades that I am looking at, and recommended trades that I am basically following. With that, we will have profit targets and all of that as well. You will also be part of a private Facebook group, and you will get coaching there as well. Every Friday morning, we do a coaching call. So whatever you're struggling with, whatever your questions are, this will be a time to get mentored by me and ask all your questions. Plus the Facebook group, there are others in there, and it's a very supportive group there as well. And so basically you get all the training, you get support with implementing, you get the analysis, and you get mentoring with me as well. So all of that, oh, actually, I totally forgot. And because I want to encourage implementation, again, I find people can know the stuff and yet not put it into practice. So in order to motivate everyone to implement what we are learning here, I'm offering 3 different prizes. So basically the prizes will be for, so you'll have to declare your targets so basically once when we start. So if you want to make 100, your goal is 100 pips a week or 50 pips a week, whatever, you set your target. And what we're trying to do is meet that goal. So we don't want like 2,000 pips in one week and then negative 5,000 in the other week. All we want to do is have that steady flow of money coming in. So we're not taking ridiculous chances and crazy risks. So the idea is to basically be consistent. Focus will be on consistency more than the amount of money you're making. And for this, you do not need a live account. You can practice in the demo account as well. So it cannot be any easier, but you have a chance to win 3 prizes. $3,500 is the first prize, second prize $1,500, third prize will be $500. So if you are interested in this, I would, or if you're interested in improving your training, because trading, that's really the focus of it, and you want to become more consistent with your profits, this is the place to join. You can go to tradingwithvenus.com/courses, and when you go to checkout, put in the coupon code "We Got This," and that's where you will get your discount. So the price actually is $697. I didn't, my calculations are a little off there. So it'll be $697 here. You get 30% off. And this promotion is only valid till the end of this week, because then we will dive in. And if you join after, the price will be regular price of $997. So that's it for today. You guys have a wonderful trading week. So I hope to see you here in the challenge, implementing everything you've learned. All right, I will see you later. Bye for now.